unfair and fundamental violation of their human rights. Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission announces overwhelming compliance with its asset declaration by outgoing officials of government. Campaign against mob justice are demanding justice for Ms. Dede Simons and other victims of mob violence in Liberia. And away from home, the BBC is reporting that Ghana's inflation rate has fallen to its lowest in 19 months, standing at 26.4% in November compared to 35.2% in the previous month, the Statistics Service has said. Those are the headlines. Now the news in detail. Finance Minister Samuel Tuer has termed the sanctions imposed on him and two Liberian senators by the U.S. Department of State as unfair and fundamental violation of their human rights. Recently, Minister Samuel Tuer, Senator Pro Tem Aboche, and Margibi County Senator Emmanuel Nokwe were designated and sanctioned for alleged acts of corruption. Speaking at a press conference on Thursday, Minister Tuer denied ever abusing his position as finance minister to solicit, accept, and offer bribes to manipulate legislative processes and public funding. He noted that his responsibility is to provide and approve resources to the national legislature upon request, subject to availability of funds. According to Minister Tuer, the specific reference to the mining sector he believes pertains to his involvement to developing a multi-user gateway through the Third Amendment of ArcelorMittal's current concession and through granting real access to high-power explorations. HPX, an American company looking to transport rail through Guinea, from Guinea through Liberia. He revealed that a year ago in Washington, D.C., he received hint that persons connected with the American company, High Power Explorations Incorporated, were trying to get him on Treasury sanctions because he was allegedly favoring ArcelorMittal Limited over HPX and preventing HPX from accessing the rail to conduct its investment in Liberia. Meanwhile, Minister Tuer said his informant knew this was unjust and unfair, knowing the role he was playing on the Interministerial Concessions Committee and understanding the difficulties and complexities of the negotiation. According to him, he was immediately informed that persons close to HPX were considering sanctions against him because the company had paid US $37 million to the government of Liberia through the national budget since 2019 and was yet to have an agreement with the Liberian government. Minister Tuer further noted that the legitimate money received by the government of Liberia for the development of the country through the national budget is never a bribe. He said an agreement has been difficult to reach because of the complexity surrounding a pre-existing agreement, and such is no reason to threaten government officials with sanctions. The Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission has announced overwhelming compliance with its assets declaration by outgoing officials of government. Recently, the LACC mandated all outgoing officials of government to disclose their assets and other financial information before December 12, 2023. Speaking Thursday during a press conference in Monrovia, LACC Vice Chairperson Ernest Hodges said officials of government governed by Liberia's Code of Conduct overwhelmingly responded to its mandate prior to the deadline set. According to him, as to the December 12th deadline, the commission received close to 100 declarations from government officials across ministries, agencies, and commissions. Commissioner Hodges further disclosed that the LACC is compiling list of compliant and non-compliant government officials will be published as of next week. He said while there is no extension in the deadline, officials of government away from the country should immediately reach the office of the LACC to comply. Campaigners against mob violence are demanding justice for Ms. Dede Simons and other victims of mob violence in Liberia. The group on Thursday held a peaceful march in demand of justice for Ms. Dede Simons, who was severely brutalized on November 13 in Red Light, Painesville. On November 13, 2023, Dede Simons had gone to Red Light Market to buy weekly provisions and medications for her family when she was accused of stealing a motorbike, which led to them dehumanizing her to the point of stripping her naked. But speaking Thursday at a press conference, an executive of the group, Bernice Dembia, said the organization has outlined several recommendations as means of redress. Dembia noted that the group is requesting the Ministry of Justice through the Liberia National Police to arrest and investigate perpetrators seen in a video to face justice. According to her, the organization wants the Solicitor General to press for a speedy trial to bring to book those responsible for such horrible act. Bernice Bembia wants the government to institute stringent measures to root out mob violence from the Liberian society, ensuring that previous life lost to mob violence will not go with impunity. You are listening to a bulletin of news from the News and Current Affairs Department here at the Renaissance Communications Incorporated. My name is Maka Davis. In more news, Monrovia City Mayor Jefferson Koji has denied interacting with former Chief Justice Gloria Mususcat at her home as alleged. Testifying Wednesday as a subpoena witness in the ongoing murder trial at Criminal Court A, Mayor Koji told the court and jury that he and Valley Tele, who is in the employ of the Monrovia City Corporation as a patrolman, never had call interactions. He said if by any means he communicated with Tele as alleged, it can be verified by Orange Liberia GSM. Koji, according to RCR judicial correspondent, admitted to the numbers as numbers which led to the court subpoena on him, but the call log from Orange Liberia shows that the number is not in use. In a related development, a scene was created when defense lawyer Councillor Amara Sharif offered Koji a bottle of water. Koji said, "This is Africa and did not request for water, so let it be known on the records that whatever happens to him when he leaves the court, the lawyer must be held liable." But in reaction, Councillor Sherry said, "They are all traditional people. That's why when Koji refused the water, he opened it and drank it." At a point in time, Councillor Dover of the defense team alleged that she was threatened by Koji while she was seated. But Koji denied the allegation levied against him by Councillor Dover. She later asked the court to spread that on the meetings, which was done. Meanwhile, the case continues this Friday with Orange GSM appearing to testify to call logs from Jefferson Koji and Moses Wright, the security guard that was on duty the night of the murder of Chalo Musu. The president of the United Methodist University, Dr. Yagono, says Liberia's development agenda still remains elusive until Liberian students create interest in science-related courses. Speaking in Dolotown, Margaret County on Thursday, Dr. Gono noted that results from surveys she has conducted over the years show that young Liberians attending universities do not have interest in technical courses. According to her, the performances of students at universities across the country signal that students are only interested in getting papers instead of being prepared for academic competition. And Dr. Gono also used the medium to call on central government to institute an enforceable policy and framework that will lead to increased budgetary allotment for education in the country. And out of Liberia, Ghana's inflation rate has fallen to its lowest in 19 months, standing at 26.4% in November compared to 35.2% in the previous month. The Statistics Service has said it reached a 22-year high of 54.1% last December. In May, the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, approved a $3 billion bailout to help the country cope with its worst economic crisis in a generation. Elsewhere, two men who fled conflict in Sudan have been killed in South Sudan after the vehicle they were traveling in was stopped at gunpoint, the UN Refugee Agency says. The vehicle was surrounded by armed youth who forced all the people on board to alight. The gunmen then abducted and killed two men aged 21 and 62, the UNHCR said. The motive is unclear, but the UN agency said the attack, which took place on Wednesday in central Warab state, puts into question our entire strategy of transporting Sudanese refugees to a newly opened camp in Wedwell in northern Bahr el Ghazal state. More than 438,000 people have arrived in South Sudan since conflict broke out in Sudan in April between the army and the paramilitary rapid support forces. To end the news bulletin, a recap of the headlines. Finance Minister Samuel Tuer terms the sanctions imposed on him and two Liberian senators by the U.S. government as unfair and fundamental violation of their human rights. Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission announces overwhelming compliance with its asset declaration by outgoing government officials. Campaigners against mob violence are demanding justice for Ms. Dede Simons and other victims of mob violence in Liberia staged a peaceful march in Painesville. And out of Liberia, the BBC is reporting that Ghana's inflation rate has fallen to its lowest in 19 months, standing at 24.6, that's 26.4% in November compared to 35.2 in the previous month. RCR News Bulletin at 7. My name is Marka Davis. Good evening.